Friday, 21st of June, 2024, the longest day of the year. Good morning. Another episode of Smashy Business Show. I'm Richard Fitzgerald.
And I'm Sandra, ma'am.
Good morning, Sandra.
New host.
New host, new day, everything new. Today we're going to be talking about Emirates Group. They announced their 23 results. Big numbers, as always, with Emirates. Huge story. Love talking about them. Another topic of conversation, often for many different reasons, is influencers. This time there's fines in Abu Dhabi. We'll dig deep into that. And another Abu Dhabi related story, but in the environmental space, we're talking about Masdar buying a stake in a Greek energy company. So how are you feeling? Let me ask you a question, Sandra. What's your favorite topic when you're writing about business? Like, what if you had to read a book? If you had to look at business, do you like the stock markets? Do you like the environment? Do you like entrepreneurial stories?
Entrepreneurial stories.
Entrepreneurial stories. Yeah. What's entrepreneur do you like? Is it a tech entrepreneur or? Not
tech, no.
No.
I like when influencers are like Anas Bakhash, for example.
Okay.
He's a huge entrepreneur. I really like listening to his AB Talks episodes. He's like a very inspirational person.
And his AB Talks is more about the guests as well, but do you appreciate him as an entrepreneur and a business person? Him as an entrepreneur.
His story is very inspirational to me.
What has he kind of done that you said, oh, that was really smart?
His questions, like, how are you really doing? I think that's like a huge thing in social media right now. And the Egyptian community turned it into a meme. I love when something like so inspirational turned into like also a meme route. So
so that's interesting. So even Egyptian community in Dubai, but maybe you grew up in Dubai, right?
Yeah.
So so he is appealing to all different.
100%.
And so I'll ask you Anis's question this Friday morning, longest day of the year, Sandra. How are you really doing?
Wow, I like that twist. Nice twist, honestly. But at least it's on a Friday, you know. It's on a weekend, longest day of the year. It's on a weekend. Thank God it's not like during the week.
Alhamdulillah, you can get to rest.
Exactly. Cool. We need that rest.
If you had a business idea, if you had to, we've Shark Tank Masterminds coming on the show later. If you had to pitch to them, what would it be?
Oof. That's a hard question, Rich. That's a really hard question. You can't put me on the spot.
I won't put you on the spot.
I need some thoughts.
Do you know what? We're going to jump into the stories.
Okay.
But in 14 and a half minutes time, I'm going to come back to you.
Oh, fine.
It can be open a restaurant. It can be something simple. It can be build a media company. It can be something simple. But I think I have faith in you. I think you're going to blow us all away, and maybe get investments from these guys. Never know. Catch them on the way out. Pitch them an idea.
I will. I need some money.
All right, let's jump in. Emirates, what have we got?
Emirates generates $37 billion in revenue, transforming Dubai into a leading Dubai global airport. This is such like a cute and powerful story because Sheikh Mohammed said that establishing an airline company in Dubai was a dream more than 4 decades ago. And now it happened. He said that some people bet against the dream and many tried to distract them from the actual dream.
True.
However, today, Emirates Airlines, being the powerful airline that it is, it employs over 112,000 people. It connects with 277 cities, and it transports more than 50 million passengers annually. That's big numbers.
It's huge, isn't it?
Huge.
And the headline figure yesterday from 23 was $37 billion in annual revenues. They started with 2 lease aircrafts in 1985. When I was born, Emirates Airline didn't exist, you know? So like it's not, the air industry was set up by the Wright brothers about 100 years ago. These guys didn't start early, you know? They didn't reinvent anything. They just up the level of service and they built it in a city here. It's amazing, really. It's an amazing story. I think the numbers as well are super impressive because you know the way some people say, and we'll talk about it with the guys later, but you know the way some people say, hey, you can't make profit in that industry or you can't make margins in that industry because many countries around the world, airlines are dying. You know, British Airways are in trouble. Lufthansa in Germany is in trouble. Alitalia went out of business. Our national carrier in Ireland, Aer Lingus, is in trouble. Many parts of the world, airlines are in trouble. And then you've got $37 billion of revenue.
Yeah.
How do they do it?
It's Dubai.
It's Dubai.
Don't question Dubai.
don't doubt Dubai.
They're always on top of their game, to be honest, and they're still dreaming of expanding the business even more, which is very impressive. Like nothing can stop these people.
They really are, and they announced recently they're going to, DXB is going to be moving out to World Central, and I heard that the property prices since that announcement in World Central went up a significant percentage. It is fascinating. I love those numbers when I see it's the most. We cover in Love in Dubai a lot, but in Smashy Business we go into the details a bit more. But when I see how many passengers pass through, not only is it an airline generating profit, DXB Airport's a separate entity, and you're talking about close to 100 million passengers. I think it's about 80 or so, and the ones who stay in are about 20 million tourists a year. So there's so many knock-on effects. We obviously are in the media industry, and I was quite vocal recently about having leaders and companies in this industry that lifts everything else up. The Emirates airline lifts everything up. It lifts the tourism, it fills the hotels. It makes people want to have their conferences here, have their events here, makes people want to do many things here, and it carries everything with it. And in advertising and media, we don't have something at the moment. We have global tech companies who are here who extract the cash. And they provide commercial jobs on the ground, but nothing else. And if we had an Emirates in the media sector, like they had in the past, how much else would that lift everything up? We have property developers that lift everything up. Retail sector, now like fashion brands. Why don't we have something like this? So I think people should really be grateful and thankful to what Emirates has done, because the knock-on effect is incredible.
100%.
Naysayers in the region, naysayers of the region will say, that's just an oil thing. When the money runs out, when the oil runs out, there's nothing. It's just a desert. But actually,
that's not true.
That's not true. That's not true. We know that, Sandra.
It's not.
We know that, and you, our listeners, know that.
It's not
but
true.
But that's it. No one else knows that. But you, us too, and our listeners.
Yep. Exclusive.
Exclusive. Next up.
Jumping into our next story, Abu Dhabi mandates
$720.
Fines.
That's the number.
And business closures for unlicensed influencer ads. So the Abu Dhabi Department of Economic Development requires licensed establishments and social media influencers to obtain a license for advertising services starting July 1st. Penalties and fines for non-compliance will begin in early July, reaching up to 10,000 dirhams, and may include business closures.
Business closures, TikTok, July 1st. Are you ready, influencers?
Are you ready?
A magazine in UAE, Arabian Business, did a headline yesterday, "Is the influencer bubble about to burst?" So there's always influencer chat. This one, I love regulation. I shouldn't, because it's sometimes stifled business, but I just like it because 10 years ago they were talking about social media, now they're talking about influence. Influence is a real thing. It's potentially hundreds of $millions, although not fully recorded in the region. It's a real thing. And so I like regulation. It also, people will say, hey, I have to pay a fee now as an influencer, but actually it establishes you as a business.
100%.
This is Sandra, Abu Dhabi Department of Economic Development. So often when things come out of Abu Dhabi, we don't know if it's for the Emirate or federal for the country. So we do think this one is specifically, it mentions it's for the Emirate. So it's not necessarily Dubai influencers right now, but there are other regulations in place, and there are easy licenses to get. There's freelance licenses. There's easy ways to go about this. So the advice would be, get your license.
Just be on the safe side. Don't get fined. You don't want to do that to yourself. Do you get influenced by influencers?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do?
I think word of mouth goes way back in marketing, and if you word of mouth, like it's the most. Marketing is about persuasion, and hearing it from the horse's mouth or from an influencer's mouth, hearing it from a person you know and trust, and the way that influencers communicate is in a relatable way. We do feel like we have a connection with them. If Anas Bukash told you to invest in a salon, would you do it?
I would do that, no hesitation. No questions asked.
No questions asked.
Anas said so, let's do it.
Okay, if a billboard on Sheikh Zayed Road asked you to do it, nope.
Not good enough for me.
No, I think I'm with you too. I might ask Anas some questions though.
Oh. And us
Mainly
look
because I
out.
don't know salads. But yeah, so this is a development in Abu Dhabi, and there are fines. And yeah, look, like, you know, where there's fines and everything, it sounds like it's stopping stuff, but actually it incentivizes, it brings an industry forward. It puts the influencer conversation at the media into the framework, into the discussion.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's watch out for that. I don't know. Do you think we're going to be hearing about influencers fined?
No, I don't think, no.
No.
No, I think they'd always, like, who would want to get fined, like, such a big number? Just be on the safe side.
So they won't break the rule, or you don't think? Yeah,
I don't think they would.
You know what often happens when they introduce a rule, and if people aren't obeying it, they usually announce who doesn't do it.
Yeah, they give us the numbers.
Yeah, and they kind of like name and shame a little bit, don't they? Like just to give everyone an example. That's another way to persuade people to do so.
Yeah.
Casey were you on the show this morning with Casey?
No, I was.
Who was on the show?
Raneem.
Raneem. So Raneem and Casey did the show this morning on Lovin Dubai, and they talked about this, and they were sort of saying, well, what is a post? Like, if you do a restaurant review that you like food and you're not paid, are you going to get fined? But maybe it's not paid. Maybe you're actually paying for the food. You know, so there is some ambiguity here.
Yeah.
But you know, the sort of advertising guidelines, if you know, not to deceive customers. If you're receiving a gift or if you're paid for a post, you have to declare. So, you know, this is why TV was always clear, because everyone knew that they were called infomercials. The commercials would come up and everyone knew what was editorial and what was commercial. But in social media, it's often murky. So we do need these guidelines.
These people need to like realize how powerful they are to like the community, because they always have to like be transparent. They've got some power there, especially nowadays, and it keeps getting way more powerful each day.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. Watch the fines for. Let's move on to our third story. You know, the hosts that usually do these shows have nice little segues. Can you think of any segue from influencer in Abu Dhabi to environmental in Masdar? The common connection is Abu Dhabi, right? So let's go with that one.
Speaking of Abu Dhabi,
lovely.
Masdar to acquire Greece's Terna Energy in $3.4 billion deal. Masdar has signed an agreement to acquire Greece's Terna Energy, and the enterprise value of the deal is 3.2 billion euros or $3.43 billion. Masdar aims to reach a renewable power generation capacity of 100 gigawatts by 2030. Masdar will initially acquire 67% of Terna's outstanding shares at the completion of the transaction. They will then launch an all-cash mandatory tender offer to acquire the remaining shares.
Yeah, fascinating. Look, I love this for many reasons.
Why?
Why? So it's a big number. 3 billion is a big number, and you know, I say we as in this region is investing in other countries' energy, right? So the power is here, right? Like Abu Dhabi's investing in Greece in energy. You know, we see lots of investment we've talked on before, and we can maybe chat with the guys as well when they come on. But, you know, UAE's investing in Ras Al Hikmat in Egypt.
Yeah.
There's lots of other developments. Hamad Al Albar has developments in Latvia, in Riga, the capital of Latvia. You know, at Masdar, you know, people have said that chats in boardrooms and on companies about ESG, you know, especially the environmental part of it, social and governance, has just been for PR, but actually you see the diversification in energy, you see the things, and Masdar is a global leader in renewable energy. It started in 2006, so it's nearly 20 years old, with projects in 40 countries across 6 continents. You know what this reminds me of? DP World. DP World isn't just the port in Dubai. It's also got ports in shipping areas all over Africa, all over the world. So Masdar, people think of it, where is that in Abu Dhabi? Do I pass it on the way down there? But actually 40 countries, 6 continents, their primary solar, wind energy, waste energy, you know, geothermal energy, fascinating things, green hydrogen. People smarter than me will tell me that that's a key word in the future of energy. Urban development, developing Masdar city. So practicing as you preach, like having a city there. We have sustainable city in Dubai. They have Masdar city in Abu Dhabi, and then clean tech solutions. You know, a lot of when the chat around AI and the chat about Bitcoin is like, are these farms and data centers actually bad for the environment? You know, so they want to do clean energy. The company unites three major UAE entities: Mubadala, ADNOC, and TAQA as well. So there's a lot going on there. They have the Zayed Sustainability Prize, Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, and of course they make big investments.
And this is the largest energy transaction on the Athens Stock Exchange, according to Terna.
Fascinating. Well done.
Largest.
Cool. Right, before we bring on our esteemed guest, Ahmed Luxer, and potentially, yes, we're having Amr Mansi on as well. I see in the teleprompter. We've got two good guests. I can't wait to chat to them. Before I chat to them and say goodbye to you, what's your business idea?
Oh, I was hoping you'd forget Richard.
Never forget.
What's my business idea? I feel like you can never go wrong with a restaurant, even though we have a lot of them in Dubai, but I feel like each one has its own success story.
Okay, what's the cuisine?
Cuisine, Egyptian. You can never go wrong with an Egyptian cuisine.
What's the name?
A touch of Cairo.
A touch of Cairo. This is nice.
Shout out to Love in Cairo.
I went to an Egyptian restaurant over Eid. Hadouda
Hadouda Masraya. I love this restaurant.
Oh my God, it's so good. Dunia, the lady, the founder, came over and chatted to us, and Sandra, it was packed.
Of course it is. It's Hadouda Masraya. This is the best Egyptian restaurant in Dubai.
And Hatem Matar had he's a well-known chef in Dubai, and he had a 3-course special that sold out. But yeah, so you'd be competing with them, but I believe in you.
It's a hard competition.
Touch of Cairo in Dubai?
Stay tuned.
1st
Next
of July?
year, inshallah. Oh, 1st of July. Maybe. I don't have a lot of time, but sure.
2025. Okay. Cool.
I'll pitch it to the Shark Tank guys over there.
Yeah, don't quit the day job though.
I will. I'll be multitasking.
All right, lovely. Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you, Richard.